What's up, guys? Back with me is we got The Foster Season 1, Episode 9, Vigil. Before we start this episode, shout out to my new subscriber, Joshua Becker. He just subscribed, and I thank him, whoever he is, I thank him or her for, I think it's him, but I thank you for the subscription. Joshua Becker, thanks for subscribing. You will not be disappointed in your subscription. And if you're not subscribed, Joshua Becker, subscribe to my other channel. Because if you're not subscribed, if you're subscribed to this one, subscribe to the other ones. Because I have other channels out there, like Eagle Fang, We're Talking The Office, Riverdale Reviews, Arrowverse Reviews. So please subscribe to those ones. And let's get on to this episode. Okay, so this episode starts. Just had to mention that. So this episode starts off with where we see Stef and Mike going into Anna's boyfriend or Anna's house. And so then Steph goes into her room, Mike goes into her room, and then all we see is a flash of light. And then we see Steph on the ground, and Mike just shoots Anna's boyfriend and kills him. So, and back at home, Lena's still trying to come together why Mariana will lie about her birth, about lying about wanting to see her birth, about she was setting up to see her birth mom. So then they get a call from Jesus, and Jesus is at downtown where Jesus at downtown when Anna comes out of nowhere and he's like, hey, this women's shelter will help you, and she's like, yeah, I didn't bring a toothbrush, and he gives her, as we learn later, $16, which I didn't want Mariana to be right, but I think Mariana's right, because Mariana would say that Mariana did say last episode that Anna would come for a toothbrush or toothpaste, and she wouldn't use it, and she wouldn't buy it, and for food, and wouldn't buy food with it. So I hope Mariana's not right. Well, anyway, Lena gets a call from Jesus, and she's like, and he lies, saying he's at Lexi, and she's like, I know you're not with Lexi, are you at Anna's house? And he's like, no, I'm actually downtown. And she's like, okay. And Mariana's like, he's not at Anna's? And she's like, no. So not knowing Steph's condition, calls Steph and says, hey, Steph, he's not at Anna's, please call me when you get this. And then as they're about to get into the car, Mike answers. Yeah, one of the scenes when Steph is calling Lena, he says, no, not just no, he says, no, which I thought was kind of like weird. But anyway, back to the scene. He calls Lena. Actually, he calls Lena, and he's like, Lena, and he's like, is everything okay? So then we transition to the hospital, and Mariana's like, and so they have to explain who, they're like, we're working on your wife, and she's like, ex-wife, Lena explains that she's that partner, and she's like, we're having our team work on your partner. And and Mariana basically blames Jesus. She's basically like, you could have told me where you were. You could have told me where you were, that you were at Anna's house. And he's like, don't pin this on me. You brought Anna into our lives. So Brandon's just hanging, comes home to see Callie there. And then he gets approached by two police officers. One police officer works for his dad. It's like he's been trying to call you all. And he's like, I turned my phone off and Callie's just in the back, like, and then he's like, I turned his phone off during the concert. The concert. Callie does ask if he and Talia are back on, and he says he doesn't know. So, yeah. So then they go to the hospital, and Brandon basically yells at Martin. He's like, you didn't want nothing to do with your birth mom. He said she was a drug addict at Connors, and this is what you do because of you. His mom is fighting for her life, and she's like, Brandon, stop. And he's like, we took you in when that woman abandoned you, and this is what you do. And she's like, Callie's basically telling Brandon to stop, but he's not stopping. And he's like, he's like, don't pin on her. She already feels bad already. And Brandon's like, she should feel bad. So, and yeah. And he says his mom is fighting for his life, and Callie's basically like, Brandon, cool off. And she's like, he didn't mean that, he's just scared. So basically, yeah, and then we get one of, I'm going to call Assy, because we get one of the assiest internal affairs officers I've ever seen, because they're the worst. They're the worst. I'm saying, I was originally going to say the buddiest, but that just doesn't make any sense. So I'm going to say assiest, because these guys are garbage. And yeah, and they basically, why are they garbage? Because when Mike makes his statement, when Mike makes his statement, he's like, you basically didn't have your vest on, or you could have done it, you could have kept a woman from seeing her children. She's like, they were adopted by Stef and her partner. He's like, and this guy just makes the worst comment. He's like, your wife's gay. Your wife's a lesbian. He's like, my ex-wife. What is wrong with you? Yeah, these dudes are the worst. That comment is the worst. These guys should be fired because it's not their job, but they make a comment of this, like saying, oh yeah, bro, your wife's a lesbian? Like, bro, what is up with you? And yeah, my thing what's wrong with these guys is deserved. Because what is wrong with these internal affairs officers? Like, who makes a comment like that? Like, I kind of hate these internal affairs officers then. And they're like, oh yeah. By the way, Mike, you cannot go see, or you can't go near or see Stef. So yeah. You guys only exist to do that. And they also exist to make me hate them. So, basically, dislike them. But yeah. And then Captain Roberts agrees with them, and she's like, I'll have 2 police officers stand by this guy. So yeah, so Mariana asks, where's Jude? And Callie's like, he's at Connors. And he's like, do you think he'll find out? And she's like, I don't think so. But it's Jude. Of course he's gonna find out, Callie. Jude's amazing. And, okay, well, anyway, yeah. Yeah. So yeah. So, Brandon said he's sorry he was a butthole. Jesus says he's sorry that Brandon was a butt too. They usually say the A word, but I only used it for those Colonel Farrell's guys, because they're the worst. No more swearing in this review. It was just for those guys, because they're the worst. Well, anyway, those Colonel Fair guys, because they're the worst. Well, anyway, they get knocked on the door, and it's from Jude. Jude's back in this episode, and he's like, he heard about Stef, and he's like, you walk, and he's like, and Callie's like, sorry, Callie's like, you walked alone in the darkness, he's like, it's not fun. He's like, what if Connor's parents find out, wake up, you're gone? And he's like, I wrote a note. I just found out stuff and I wanted to be here with the family. Like, how could Jude miss an episode? Yeah, Jude's missed some episodes, but how can he miss this one? He's Jude. The best character. Wait, yeah. So then Callie's like, is Steph gonna die? And actually, Jude's like, Steph's gonna die, and she's like, no. And Callie's like, they're not our family. They're not like our family. They're lucky. So yeah. Yeah, we also get flashbacks in this episode to when Lena met, and when Lena get some flashbacks in this episode to when Steph and Lena met. Steph announced to Mike she was gay. When she met Jesus Mariana kid for the first time at the police station, and we also get a flashback to when she confesses her love to Lena. So yeah, there's a lot of flashbacks to Steph in this episode, but I'm going to just say them. I'm not going to say the entire scene because it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to the whole story of Steph. It just matters to the, it's just there to show how Steph and Lena met and fell in love, and Mike, and yeah. So, and how they messed up Jesus and Mariana. So yeah, and Callie just actually prior to the Jude scene, sneaking Callie. Callie sneaks up behind Brandon and it's like basically telling them it's like you shouldn't be mad at Jesus and Mariana. Her thing is that he shouldn't be mad at Jesus and Mariana because one day sometimes some people wonder something about that when you're gonna wonder what that person loved you just didn't. That's what Kyle's saying. I don't understand it, but she's saying something. Yeah. So then after the Jude scene, where I talked about, we see Brandon and Callie is making some what is it called? She's making something like biscuits and gravy. It's some comfort food that her mom taught her, and Brandon's like, hey, you never told me about your mom. She says, you know that you told me she died, but you never explained how. So Callie explains that when we know that this takes place when she was 10, so when Callie was 10 years old, her mom died in a car accident, and her dad was drunk, and some other people in the car died too, and then her dad went away for manslaughter, and then he started writing letters to him, and he never wrote back. And Brandon's like, do you think he's ever gonna come back for you in June? She's like, I don't know. And then as soon as Brandon starts touching Callie's hair, Wyatt sees this, and he goes in, and he gets a call, and he's like, hey, I better wake everyone up, and yeah, so then, so Jesus asks Mike Mike tells Jesus that Anna went into the women's shelter, but then bolted as soon after, like she wasn't even there. And Jesus asked Anna's boyfriend, is he dead? She's like, yeah. And he's like, good. And he's just like, and Mike's like, no, bro. It's not good when people die, no matter what they did. So yeah. So kind of dark thing for Jesus to say, but Mike believed it. So, and I like this funny scene where Jude's like, where Lena's like, where Lena says that she had toast, and she's like, what did you guys have? And Jude just like, White God's donuts. I just love Jude sometimes. He has the funniest things to say. And this scene is one of the funniest. So Wyatt goes talk to Callie, and he's like, I know that you're using me. She's like, wait, what? And she's like, I know you can't help it. I know that you like Brandon. And she's like, wait, what? And he's like, I know that foster siblings aren't allowed to sleep with other kids they go with, but not like they're keeping you. They only find you. They only keep you until they find you a permanent home. So it's hard for me to say it, but if you're into Brandon, go for it. So Callie starts walking into the hospital room, and then she stops when she sees Brandon hug Talia. Yeah, and then she just walks back into the main entrance room. Like, Callie, you could talk to him. I guess you were kind of sad that he walked back into the arms of his ex-girlfriend. Yeah. What could this mean? Could this mean that Brawley is back on? Who knows? But yeah, so yeah. And Mike starts drinking again. Mike puts like liquor in his coffee, and Brandon takes some coffee, takes a cup, smells it, and throws it into the trash. So yeah. So Brandon gets mad at Mike. He's like, you were drinking. Who does that? An alcoholic. And Brandon's like, hey, he's like, don't touch me. I'm done with you, Mike. And then also, when we see Anna being arrested, yeah, I actually learned that the actress who played Anna got married to the actor who played Sean in Boy Meets World during the time the first part of season 1 came out, or prior to the Fosters. I don't know which one, but she was married to Ryder Strong, who plays Sean Hunter on Boy Meets World and Girl Meets World. But anyway, back to Anna just shows up handcuffed, and Lena's like, you're showing up near my kids again, it'll be the last thing you do. And she just looks over at Hades and Mariana, and they just throw her away. It said that Mike, yeah, so yeah. So then Lena, she goes back into the hospital room, and she asks Stef asks her to marry her, and Lena says, I thought you'd never ask. And also, yeah. And then we see a scene where Stef, after talking to Mike, has a flashback scene of when actually Mariana goes to bed with Lena, sleeps in Lena's bed with her, and yeah. So then we see a scene, Stef flashes back to the gunshot scene, but the guy actually dropped his gun when Mike shot him. That means Mike shot Evan when I forget his last name, but I'm just gonna say Evan when he was an unharmed man. He had no gun. He shot Stef. He dropped it while the bullets were firing, and yeah. And basically that wraps up this episode. This episode was really good. Bralia might be back on. Stef and Lee are getting married probably next episode. And Callie and Brandon, what's gonna happen with them? Wyatt was willing to risk his relationship with Callie to have Callie being all with Brandon. But now, Callie's like, but Wyatt's like, hey, if you're into Brandon, then go for it. But now, Brandon, as soon as Callie's ready to accept her feelings for Brandon, Talia walks back into Brandon's arms, and I think they're going to restart their relationship. Bralia is back on. So anyway, like, comment, subscribe. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, and I'll see you next The Fosters for the wedding episode.